All right, so for this next, for number 11, that was the one I was asking you guys to look at. I ended up getting um, 3 and then x minus 5, x plus 2, x minus 2. That's the factored form. I think you guys would end up with, before you guys got 3x squared minus 4, x minus 5. And x squared minus 4 gets me the x plus 2 and the x minus 2. All right, so this next type of pattern that we're going to look at is the difference of two cubes. And this is just going to be a pattern that we want to try to remember to help us factor a cubic. And in this case, we're looking at the difference of them. The first thing that we're going to do is figure out what cube gets me x cubed. And I know that's going to be x to the third power. And then what cube gets me 8. And I know that's going to be 2 to the third. And based off that, I'm going to say that a is going to be equal to x. And I know that b is going to equal to 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug x and 2 in place of a and b in this format. So I know it's going to be x minus 2, and then it's a squared, so it's going to be x squared, plus x times 2, plus b squared, or 2 squared. So I end up with x minus 2, and then I got x squared plus 2x plus 4. That's going to be your factored form. So we could say it's going to be f of x equals x minus 2, and then x squared plus 2x plus 4. Now, we just want to try to find out what the zeros are. I will tell you that because of this cubic, I know this is not real, so we will not worry about x squared plus 2x plus 4, but we will look at x minus 2. If I said x minus 2 equal to 0, you guys do get x to be 2. So that is the 0 of that function. If I were to look at the graph, I could look at the graph. I did type in x cubed minus 8. And when I look at the graph, you can only tell that it hits the x-axis once. So there is one real 0. There is some other stuff going on, and we will talk about that and like kind of what that means when we talk about complex numbers next week. So let's look at another example here. Let's look at number 13, and we'll also look at number 14 just to kind of help you out. So we're going to follow the same pattern. What cubed gets me x cubed? That's x to the third. What cube gets me 27? That's 3 to the third. So I know it's going to be a minus b, and then it's a squared plus ab plus b squared is that factoring pattern. So we do have x minus 3, and then we got x squared plus 3x plus 9 is going to be that pattern. In this case, your 0 is going to be dealing with x minus 3. So x equals 3 is your 0. So your function is f of x equals x minus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 9. And your 0 is going to be at x equals 3. Now, 14 is a little bit different. So we got 125 x to the third minus 27. So what cube gets me 125 is 5. And we do have an x, so it's going to be 5x to the third. And then what cube gets me 27 is a 3. So I know that a is going to be 5x. And I know my b is going to be 3. So I'm going to plug it into a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I do have 5x minus 3. And then it's going to be 5x, and I'm going to put parentheses around 5x and square it. I'm going to take 5x times 3. And then I'm going to take 3 to the second power. So I end up with 5x minus 3. And then I get 25x squared plus 15x plus 9. That is your factored form. That's what f of x equals in factored form. All right, and then we also want to find the zeros. So this quadratic is not going to be a perfect square, so we're going to set 5x minus 3 equals 0. 25x plus 15x plus 9 is not a real 0, so we're not going to worry about that. So I got 5x equals 3. You end up getting x to be 3/5. So that is your 0 in that case. I encourage you guys to pause the video for a second and then look at the slide. So I will even write down, because I know some of you guys may not be listening, but pause video until you might have the next few answers there. Okay. Hopefully you guys paused it. The factored form for number 15 would have been x minus 1, and then times x squared plus x plus 1. If you look at number 16, the factored form would be 3 minus 4x, and then 9 plus 12x plus 16x squared. You do get a 0 at 3/4 for that one. And then when I look at this next one, it's x. Like if I look at what's squared gets me x to the 6th, it's x squared to the 3rd. And then what cubed gets me 8, it's 2 cubed. So that's how I end up with that form right there. Okay, so now we're going to look at sums. Sums has this form right here. And it's similar, I just have, instead of me having a minus b, it's going to be a plus b. So in this case, I do have x to the 3rd, and then what cube gets me 64? That's 4 to the 3rd. So that's a, and that's b. So I'm going to have x plus 4, and then I have x squared plus 4 times x plus 4 squared. It's going to be that form. So I'm going to have x plus 4, and then I have x squared plus 4x plus 16 is going to be that factored form. Oops, that should be a minus right there. Keep on making that mistake. But that should be a minus. Minus 4x right there. The pattern goes a squared minus ab plus b squared. So your zeros would be x equals negative 4 in that case. So let's look at one example. Hopefully I don't make that same mistake. What cube gets me x cubed? So it's x to the 3rd. What cube gets me 125? That's 5 to the 3rd. So it's a plus b. And then it's a squared minus ab plus b squared. This is the factor form, so it's going to be x plus 5, and then x squared minus 5 times x plus 5 squared. So I get x plus 5, and then I have x squared minus 5x plus 25. That would be your factored form. And then your 0 would be x plus 5 equals 0. So you do get x to be negative 5 in this case. Okay. If you want to pause the video, you can try the next few, and then I will show you guys what you got. And this is what you should have had for 2021 or 22. We will talk more about this tomorrow and on the next day when you guys see you next. So thank you, and have a great day.